Good morning, YouTube, and welcome to another video. Got some eBay ready to go. I actually just finished the last video, which was about us traveling. So we just got back. We've got some things to do today, one of which is to ship out only 3 packages. The 3 packages were given to me while I was on vacation mode on eBay. So I don't know if you're familiar, but when you sell on eBay, if you go somewhere for a while, you can set it to vacation mode and you can still sell things, but your shipping doesn't have to be next day. You can wait until you get back. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to get the things shipped, and then we're going to get some things organized. I got to pick up the stuff from the wind. I need to move this other Airstream that we picked up. I need to move it into position over here so we can work on shuffling some stuff. This is my regular everyday Airstream that I stay in while I'm building. We're going to be doing some different things with this, and then this one that we just picked up in Dallas on the way home will be the one that we're shuffling into essentially. And that one, I have a parking space set up over here for it, but my scaffolding is being stored there and it's in the way. So I'll need to move the scaffolding and move the blocks, get all of that organized and get ready so I can move that into place. But first, we also, goodness, we got a lot to do today. We also have to take the trash at some point to the exchange station. So when you get back from a long trip, things just start right back up. So here we go. We're going to be doing a few things random today. And the first thing is try to get the cold truck started and take this mail to the mailbox and check the egg booth for egg money, because I have a dozen eggs to add and I have hopefully some cash in the box from being gone for that many days. So we're going to see what that's like. Here we go. Wish me luck on getting this truck started right now. Okay, well, I got it running. It took us a minute. We had to choke it. It was a little cold after the cold and not running for several days. So we're down here at the egg booth. Woohoo! Let's see what we got. We have 1 dozen to put in from yesterday. So we're gonna see. Nothing's in there. We got any returns? Ooh, I got a return carton. That's good. I love it when a plane comes together. And then let's see what's in here. That'll be good. Let's see. Ta-da! Oh, that's a nice sight right there. It's like my little ATM down here. This is awesome. So we're basically doing about a dozen a day. That's about all my chickens make extra anyway. So we do about a dozen a day. And my phone number's on this this booth here, and I have Venmo code, and I've not gotten Venmo yet. People like doing the cash, which is cool, but I did get a couple phone calls while I was gone to ask if I had more eggs. We have it's hunting season, so there's a lot of deer hunters. We have mule deer around here, and I got some egg sales to the hunters that stay out near here, because there's a lot of BLM land that way. That's east, and there's a lot of BLM state trust land and government land that people can come and camp on for free, and they'll come out during hunting season. Sorry for the truck. It sounds so good though, doesn't it? They'll come out during hunting season and catch their deer and camp out there. And I did get some phone calls for that. So this is a welcome sight. Woohoo! Got some cash to start my time back, and we're gonna go to the mailbox now and see you shortly. All right, super exciting haul from the chicken booth. Got $35. Woo! That's exciting. Those chickens are paying for their food. We're down here at the mailboxes. This is our, everybody in a probably, I guess, 10, 12 mile radius up here where we are has their mailboxes down here. And then this is near, I think I told you in one video, there is an old mining town near us, and we have the water tank from that mining town that used to be there's a bird talking to me, that used to be the swimming pool. And this is the remnants, or some of the remnants of that old mining town. So you can see the mine entrances up on the hill and all the tailings piles, and some of the equipment is actually still up there, which is kind of neat to see and go exploring carefully. They have electricity down here. It runs through from the community across the way from us to the south of us. And somebody used to live down here up until the 50s. This was occupied down here with people. And there's a hunting camp over across the road here from the mailboxes, and they come up and stay like just a few times a year over there with their campers and stuff. But this is the remnants of a like old saloon and area, and it's Adobe, which is really cool. It's a neat thing. It used to be more intact. It's just recently started to fall in, but apparently this was the storefront here, and you can see some of the old lime plaster is still on there, the lime render. And then it used to go across this way. There's an old fireplace that used to go all the way across this way, and they had a fire in the town, and this whole section, which was the mercantile, the like general store area, must have been, or apparently was here, and that burned down. And so now we have mailboxes and everybody comes and gets their mail, but this is still fairly intact, and you can come down here and look around carefully. And they do little tours. Over across the way, there's an old jail. The old jailhouse is still intact. I think you can see it from here. Over there is the old jailhouse, and they've set it up like a museum. And they'll do little ATV tours through the old town areas. And if they're in town, they're not always, the owners are not always in town. They're up in a bigger city nearby, and but they come in here and do tours every now and then, especially holidays. It used to be the first Saturday of the month, but we can tour you around. So all this now is, I guess, state land, and they, because of some reason, they won't like maintain it. They're just letting it ruin because it's a ghost town. So you can see the roof collapsed at some point recently. Had an old metal roof with tar. They had put tar paper on it to patch it too. And then there was the wood slats for the original construction, and that was the storefront. This is Adobe brick. And then you can see some, if I can get out of the sun for you, this smoother stuff on the walls is actually lime plaster render plaster to protect the Adobe from getting water on it. If you can keep water off the Adobe bricks, it could last a long time. This was built in the 1800s, so it's still, you can still see the walls are straight and true. And until the roof came down a few years ago, this was still, people could walk in here and you know, see inside. There's a floor, there's a basement down in there. I'm not going to obviously walk in there because that's obviously not stable, but I'm out here on solid ground on this part. But you can see the edges of the lime render, which is really kind of cool. This is essentially what I'll be doing on the chicken coop as well as my house build. And this is Adobe mixture. You can see if you look close, they've got their native soil and sand and grit, just like we did for our cob mixture, only we added straw. They don't necessarily put a lot of straw in here, but you can see some grass fibers were mixed in here as well. This is like native grasses and things. They didn't use as much straw for animal bedding around here because it's not quite so cold as other areas, but you can see some of the fiber mixture. So they would have put that mixture that I showed you that we made for the chicken coop, they would have put that into block molds, let those molds bake in the sun, or those blocks bake in the sun, and then they stacked them up just like bricks. And then this is 120 years later. Oh no, more than that. It's like 140 years later, after a roof has collapsed, finally you can start to see the inside of the wall again. But it's a very sturdy material. That's what I'm building with. My block material though will be inside of a protective bag as well to help it set up. So that is a pretty cool area, pretty cool ruin to explore and look around. There's all sorts of encampments and things and foundations and all kinds of stuff down here. It's kind of a fun spot to be near, and looking at all the history and seeing all the things. You'll find chunks of old, you know, ore and copper and different things from the mining times. There was turquoise and ore and copper and silver, I believe, out of this. I think they had some gold too, but it was mostly a lot of turquoise and a lot of silver from what I can tell. Really cool area. You can find old glass from when the fire Apparently all, like I said, this was a big mercantile and all of this burned. So there's lots of remnants of whatever was in the buildings. There's another foundation nearby over there. You can see lots of neat history. There's an old foundation grown into the bank now. You can see the stone from whatever this mercantile building and whatever was next to it. So very interesting. This is our mailbox area. This is where we come when we are bringing the eBay packages for the day and checking that egg booth, our little personal ATM. All right, next time you see us, we'll be getting ourselves organized. Okay, we are back from the mailbox. We have had breakfast. I've picked up some of the stuff that blew away in the wind while we were gone. We have not yet emptied the trash barrels. We're still filling one on the end before we load it. And we're getting ready to move this trailer into position. I'm gonna back it into here and put it in this parking space. This I had as a summer parking space for my regular Airstream at one point. I had leveled off. It's not like perfectly level, but the nice thing is it drops at a grade back at the back where you need to empty tanks and stuff like that and transfer to the septic. It's much simpler because there's a little drop. I even created a little lip down there. So what we have to do, this is my regular Airstream. I love it. It's my favorite. It's filthy right now. But it's my little 20 FB. Love it so much. This is going to stay right here for now. And then we're going to put this Airstream, which is actually 2 feet longer. I said on the last video, we picked it up in Dallas, and it's actually 2 feet longer than my regular one. But it's lighter. The dry weight of this Airstream is 3,500 pounds. So I'm pulling it with a little 4Runner, and the max tow weight on that is like 5,000 pounds, and it towed like a dream. And they said it's funny that it's a 2019 and it has a narrower chassis. It's like, I think they call it a Euro chassis, and it's just a few inches like narrower, which makes it lighter, and other things make it lighter as well. But that's the Sport Bambi. And this one, 20 feet long, including the tongue. So the actual body of it is 18 feet long, and it weighs 5,000 pounds dry weight. Actually, it's a little less than that dry weight, but the maximum weight on this is 5,000 pounds. So it's heavier, even though it's smaller. So that's one of the benefits of having this one, to do like little trips and stuff like that. But in order to get it into this little parking space so we can start making little personal modifications and that kind of thing, we have to move my scaffolding, which is over here, and we have to set up a temporary power system for it. So this is my scaffolding. We've used it when building the Quonset hut right here, and I've been storing it on its side here so it didn't get whopped over in the wind while we weren't using it. So what I'm going to do, John and I are going to be moving this over to this area. I have a section I can come in with the tractor over here and pick them up later, and move them to the job site down by the house. And we're going to be moving around some of these blocks and different things and getting those out of the way. And what John's doing right now is he's setting up our temporary solar panels for the Blue Eddy system that we will be using to run that Airstream up there when it's parked over here. So we have a solar array right here. This used to be our laundry station. Now it holds our additional fuel and all of that. And we want the other Airstream to be parked right here. And this will be where we get electricity for it while it's parked there. So we're going to be setting that up. I'm going to put you down on a tripod and we'll get going moving this thing. So hopefully I can back it in smoothly and it's not too exciting in the wrong kind of ways. We'll see you shortly on time lapse. Okay, we are back. Hopefully you saw what we did in the time lapse. I used to have a big giant GMC truck and it was so much harder to back a little trailer. A single axle trailer can be a little wily because it wants to turn real quick. But this is so much easier with a smaller vehicle. I love having a smaller vehicle, so points to the Toyota for that. We are gonna level it here. We're gonna, I've got the lock pin on here. We're gonna disconnect our hitch and everything here. And I'll show you on the other side what we did. Before you disconnect a hitch, you put something down to keep the rust off of the bottom or whatever from rain. And you put a chalk behind the tire, which is a wood or a block or something to stop it from rolling back, because the brakes are not disengaged, or not engaged, I'm sorry, from the trailer yet. I'll show you how to do that. So we got this, we leveled it side to side, and the way we did that, I use these, I think they're called Anderson levelers. I love them, they're red. It's like a little two-part system, and you pull forward. That was the last thing you may have seen in the time lapse. You pull forward onto this little wedge, and it has little holes to kind of gauge how far you go. And then once you get it where you want, you slide the wedge into the back to keep it from rocking back. And then we come over here and we disengage the brake. I think I can pull this out. I've not pulled this one out before, but you pull out this. This is the emergency whatever brake thing. This disengages the trailer brake. So now, it engages it. I'm saying that wrong. But anyway, what this does is I pull that out. Now the wheels won't move. So the trailer shouldn't rock back and forth. If I were to try to go forward now with my vehicle, then it would be dragging like a sled on the wheels. So that kind of helps stabilize it while we're monkeying around up here with all of this. So we're going to disengage all of this stuff, raise the tongue up a little bit, and then get it higher than our hitch. And then I'll pull forward and get out of the way. This is the anti-sway. And a lot of people may laugh at this and say, you know, with this trailer this small, you don't need this additional anti-sway. But it makes a huge difference, because essentially, instead of just being connected here at the ball going down the road with a small vehicle, I'm connected here at the ball, and then also stabilized here with these bars. So it's like a 5-point, sort of 4.5 point little system, and you can't really feel a wind on the road, or when a big truck goes around you, you can't feel your trailer rocking back and forth. So this is one version that we have. I have a couple different versions of this. This is the E2 hitch. It's the round bar version. My version for the smaller trailer, the 20 FB, I think is my favorite. It's a little simpler even than this system. I'll show you that at some point in the future. But this is, even though it's a small trailer and you technically don't need it, I highly recommend these anti-sway systems. It really makes a big difference. And they sell ones that have, this is like a steel L bar here that holds this sway thing, and they sell them that actually are chains, and I don't like those, because you crank it in and then there's tension on it, and you try to undo it, it might flip back. But this just basically sits on the thing, and you can see as he raises the tongue, and it'll come off of the ball, it loosens the tension on this, and ultimately we'll be able to slide that off and disconnect them very easily from the hitch. It's like, this system is magic. It makes everything more stable and a lot easier to deal with. So that's the way we like to trailer, and that's how we do it. So this trailer is now set up where it's going to be for a little while we fiddle with it. And you can see maybe the grade a little bit on here. It's of course tilting. It's going to be tilting up a little here. It will be flat once we finish disconnecting the trailer. But the dump area is back here, and I made a little notch way back so that I can pull our waste tank down here, fill it, and then transfer it, and it has a nice gravity flow out to empty the tank. So it's a nice setup for me. What we're going to be working on today now is we're going to be setting up these solar panels. This is south, so we're going to be putting south, and then you can see all my other panels are faced in that direction too. Those are the panels on my Quonset hut that are feeding the power to my other Airstream. And then the plug, the 30 amp plug for shore power on this one is on this side. It's always on the driver's side. So we'll put our power unit over here, I'll bring the tractor and put a little, we have sort of an outdoor box. It's made onto an old pallet, and we'll put our Blue Eddy over here and set it up so it can run off of these panels. We don't need to run a lot of systems here. We just need to trickle charge the battery, make sure it's staying topped off, and the house battery, that is. It's a lead acid. It's actually it's a gel battery is what they said.
Yeah.
So it's a lead acid. It's not lithium. It's a gel battery. So it needs to be topped off, and it'll run the heater, so we don't have to winterize this or anything. We can keep the heat on while we're working on it through the winter. So that is the final position of that. I'll go get the little box, and I'll be moving over these things with the tractor as well. Maybe I'll show you some of that. And that's the next step. Hope you're enjoying the video so far, and we're gonna keep on keeping on. Now we've disconnected, so I'm gonna pull out and go park the Toyota. The Toyota is gonna get a nice long rest from its long travels across the country, and then we're gonna keep on doing this stuff. Catch you in a few. Okay, so we are now gonna put down the stabilizers. We have leveled the Airstream in place, and now we're gonna put the stabilizers down. This kind of keeps it from rocking back and forth while you're in it. It's these little like foot pad things. This one's nice because it has these rubber pads over the metal part, and this isn't to level it, it's to stabilize it. So you're not like putting a lot of pressure on that to like change the level of it. You're just putting it so it touches the dirt, and then your floor is more stable. You may have noticed in the last video, if you watched it, if you didn't, you really should check it out, that when I was in there with Loretta, when we were traveling and we were getting ready to go, John had put these stabilizers up, and she could feel the Airstream rocking back and forth, and it really stressed her out. So, so definitely these make a difference. It makes it feel, more stable. They're stabilizers. So this one's back here behind the black tank and everything. And it's nice. One of the huge things I love about Airstream is everything's very mechanical. It's not like electric necessarily, so it's not draining your power. It's not doing anything to put these down, and it's manual, so if there's a problem with it, you can easily just see what the problem is and fix it. You're not having some kind of electrical relay issue trying to figure out how to put your stabilizers down. So, and leveling is very simple. You just drive up on a wedge. Very simple with that. So I really love the Airstream for that. So here we are. Next step is to do the solar setup. We've got this thing set and locked where it's going to be. We're also going to be cleaning up some of the weeds that grew over summer here, and get this where we can walk easier in there. Maybe put down a rug out in this area so that we don't track dirt in and out of the Airstream. So this one's ready to roll. It has, like I said, this is going to be our go back and forth kind of one. It's a neat layout. It's got the front bed like my other one does, with the doors in the back, and then the dinettes here. Galley kitchen, TV's over here, and the bathroom. The bathroom's probably my favorite thing about this one because it's so big for an Airstream bathroom. So it's the entire back end of the whole thing. So anyway, that is the final resting place for the moment for this guy, and we are going to go ahead and put the power out now. Okay, we are back post time lapse. We on the time lapse, you saw me bringing over this little contraption that we made. It was an old pallet and some scrap metal, and we're gonna place the Blue Eddy AC301 battery, the B300 battery, to go with it. This is the Blue Eddy system that we used for that separate solar array down on the other side of the property, and it has a 30 amp service plug right here on the front. So we can plug the Airstream directly into the AC300 Blue Eddy, and it can live under this for rain and protection from sun. And I have some little flaps that I'll attach to this in case we get rain or snow while it's sitting here, just to protect it on the sides. Generally, this is a pretty good protection for it. And then it'll be able to be in the sun if we want it to like heat up, to get a little heat in the morning if it gets too cold. Because lithium will drain its power if it's cold. You can use the power if it's cold, but it won't recharge if it's too cold. So then getting the next day's charge would be a challenge. So we have to kind of monitor that, since this is outside and this space obviously is unheated. And then so we'll be working on that, putting that together. The power for this Blue Eddy is going to come from some actual branded Blue Eddy panels. These panels are a little different than the panels we have up here. Those panels are industrial 250 watt panels. They're meant to be outside consistently. They're stiff, they have glass on them, they're metal framed. These panels are meant to be mobile, and they come from Blue Eddy. We generally don't use these all the time because we're using solar 24/7. That's our source of electricity here. So these panels would be auxiliary panels if we wanted to connect them to the unit, or in a setting like this where we want something temporary so we can get this this house battery, keep it charged up and keep the heat on while we're figuring things out with it and getting it all fiddled. But these panels that come from Blue Eddy, you can see they have little kickstands in the back so that you can put them at the proper 30-degree angle. Actually, these are set at 55. It actually tells you on here what degree you're setting it at based on the season of the year or where you are, you know, on the planet, on the globe. So you can set that that angle properly with this little contraption. And then the cords to feed the power are your standard male female plugs, or whatever they're called, to go into any, just like the plugs that come off of those panels. It's pretty standard. And so if you had a different system, then you wanted to use these just as solar panels for something, you could have the connectors for these. These are pretty standard connectors for that. So these will go into the system. They'll feed power to the Blue Eddy, and which will in turn feed power, our version of grid power, to the Airstream via the 30 amp service plug. So we've got all that ready. I won't bore you with all of that. That's what we're going to do. This is the end of the video for today. This is the 30 amp plug that'll go into the front of that Blue Eddy system down here, and that plug goes into the Airstream there, and that's how it will get its power. I've shown that in another video again, so I won't go over that again this time, but that's what we're going to be doing for the rest of the next few minutes. And I will let you go here. And ooh, I think it is hunting season, like I said, and look who's come for a stay. I think you can see him down there. We have some little friends taking shelter with us. That's a mule deer. There's a couple of them. Let's see if I can get over here so you can see them. They're pretty cool. There they go. Anyway, mule deer, super fun. They're come to say hello and take refuge from the hunters down the way. So what a fun way to end the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed our first day back. We got back last night, and then today we have to catch up on all the tasks. Just a little of this and a little of that. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and we will see you next Sunday here at Wickiup. No, maybe you'll see some more deer when you come back to see us next Sunday. Let's see if I can get down here. All right, there they are. So cool. All right, hope you're having a good one. See you next Sunday.